Good morning, Year 6. Happy Friday. One of the learning objectives for English for Year 6 is to make comparisons between books and poems. So today we're going to be comparing two poems. Recently we've read The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes and The Listeners by Walter Delamere. A copy of both of those poems is on the school website, so take a look to remind yourselves before you start the work for today. So when we compare two poems, we need to think about what's the same and what is different between them. So I'd like you to start by drawing a line down the middle of your page and on one side writing down anything you can think of that is the same about the two poems, The Highwayman and The Listeners. You might want to pause the video while you complete this work. One of the things that's the same about both poems is that they're both set in the past. We can tell this because both the main characters, the highwayman and the traveller, ride on horses. The highwayman's clothes are very old-fashioned, and some of the language used in the poems is old-fashioned too. Another similarity is that both the poems have ghosts in them. Bess and the highwayman return to haunt the inn, and The Listeners is a group of ghosts watching and listening to what the traveller is doing. Both poems use descriptions of the setting to help build up the atmosphere. In The Highwayman, the moon is a ghostly galleon sailing through the sky. In The Listeners, the poet describes the shadowy stillness of the deserted house and a bird flying away into the darkness. Another similarity that you might have noticed is that both poems start with a character riding up to a building at night and knocking on the door in the darkness. Now we're going to think about what's different between the two poems. Pause the video and write down anything that you can think of. You might have noticed that while the highwayman is described in lots of detail, the traveller is a mysterious character. We don't really know much about him. The poem The Highwayman includes lots of characters. The highwayman himself, Bess, Tim, and the soldiers. The listener just has one character, the traveller, and we don't really know too much about him. The highwayman tells a story, but the listeners just gives hints. It makes you want to find out what the story is. The highwayman ends in tragedy, whereas the listeners is more of a mystery. So your task today is to write a comparison of the two poems. You can use the ideas from this video, and I'm sure you'll have lots of ideas of your own as well. Aim for at least 2 paragraphs, and there are some sentence starters to help you on the website. So to finish, I thought I'd share this lovely picture of me that my children have made. I think they'd better get back to school soon. Have a great weekend all, and see you next week.